It is a great privilege and honor to share our thought on the issues of building resilient Ghanaian economy and businesses through digital solutions, which I strongly believe is pivotal to achieving sustainable development across the communities within which we work and live. I would like to thank all participants, particularly the entrepreneurs and SME owners. Your presence and voices are essential as we strive to create better solutions for our SMEs. SMEs form the bedrock of many developing countries, including Ghana. However, this assertion has been challenged as many SMEs across the globe are struggling to survive during this current pandemic. There is an urgent need, therefore, to encourage local entrepreneurs to face the challenges of national development and channel their effort towards sustained economic growth. The COVID-19 pandemic has particularly made this difficult for many SMEs in Ghana to play a critical role in stimulating the economy, as many SMEs have found it difficult to maintain staff, keep the levels of production intact, or support the economy at the usual pace it had done before the coronavirus pandemic. There is an interesting statistics I'll just take you through. It was done by the Ghana Statistical Service in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program and the World Bank. And it shows clearly that over 770,000 workers, that is 25% of the total workforce, had their wages reduced, and over 42,000 employees were laid off during the COVID pandemic partial lockdown we had in the country. The pandemic also led to a reduction in working hours for close to over 700,000 workers, and we all bear witnesses to this. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, these are indeed worrying statistics and requires urgent support and strategies that would enable SMEs survive these times and ensure sustainable growth. So how do we improve the viability of SMEs to upscale and stimulate the Ghanaian economy, and the role digital tools and solutions can play in driving greater business stability and resilience? These are suggestions we can attempt to implement. Number one, we need to have the desire to adopt digital solutions. SMEs may be better prepared. Their digital potential remaining marketing in the marketing space are highly underexploited. Beyond some innovative startups and tech SMEs, there is a lot more potential that SMEs are lagging behind. SMEs are still less well connected to high-speed broadband with lesser scope to participate in the data-driven economy or to leverage cloud computing for extra storage and processing capacity. In over a decade of banking in Ghana, our work has shown that digitization offers tremendous opportunities to increase productivity and create jobs. The digital economy offers new opportunities for scaling up and reducing costs, including through the creation of new business models that can challenge existing ones. And SMEs are the first to stand to benefit. This applies in particular to new or younger firms that often start digital, but also to more traditional, established firms looking to go global and reach new markets through online activities. Number two, SMEs need user-friendly solutions for digital processes. There are thousands of tools on the market, but by no means are all of them useful, and even fewer are suitable for medium-scale businesses. Why? Because many SMEs have grown quite differently from startups, for example. It is therefore essential for the use of tools in companies that are absolutely user-friendly. In any solution, the respective tool should be mobile. The times when every step of the process was performed on a desk with fixed programs have passed away. Mobile solutions can be used on the go via smartphones and tablets, and even more importantly, by different employees at different locations. This criteria is why Access Bank's Access Pay solution has been well embraced by many SMEs, and my colleague Kafui will elaborate more on this in his presentation. In addition, it makes sense to use tried and tested tools. A number of services are now also available at a reasonable price. Numerous programs also enable complex processes such as project management can be used free of charge or for just a little fee. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to remember that different firms face different challenges. For example, they all have different levels of high-speed broadband access and different levels of adoption of core digital tools. While we should all be looking to improve their rate of digitization, a tailored approach is the way forward. As we seek to emerge from the crisis, we have an opportunity to shape the country's economic recovery in a way that delivers sustainable, long-lasting, impactful change, and investing in small businesses and helping them achieve their full digital potential will ensure a stronger, future-proofed Ghana we're all seeking for. With increased demand and ready market through online activities, it is expected that businesses will be able to increase their output, attract the needed funds to expand, and upgrade the quality of their services to be acquired taste that we all used to. I believe that we have an exciting opportunity to build on the growing momentum occasioned by the pandemic. Let us take advantage of this and many more of the SME clinics that we'll be having in subsequent days ahead to engage in more productive and fruitful deliberation that will lead us to the economic prosperity we all desire. I wish you a very good deliberation, and at the end of it all, we believe that we'll have the right solutions that will take us to the next level. Thank you very much for your attention.
The next on the bill is Ato Afful, who is the MD for Graphic. He will also give us a scope.
The Managing Director of Access Bank, Mr. Olumide Olatunji, our expert panelist, the editor, Graphic Business, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, our audience member networks around Ghana and on our virtual handles, I am privileged to welcome you to the maiden edition of the Graphic Business Access Bank SME Clinic. The SME Clinic is a creation of the Graphic Business in partnership with Access Bank to offer a platform for informed discussion of issues affecting the growth and development of the SME sector of the Ghanaian economy. It may be asked whether this is an exercise worth our energies. My answer is a straight yes. SMEs are a very critical sector of all economies around the world, and Ghana is not an exception. In situating this conversation, we take a look at one of the big reference points for labor around the world. The International Labour Organization, ILO, website has an article by two of their officials who specialize in small enterprises. And they produced a thought-provoking piece on the title, Is Small Still Beautiful? And there's a quote I'd want to share with you. And the quote reads, SMEs provide 2/3 of all the formal jobs in developing countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, and 80% in low-income countries, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa. Distinguished participants, it is obvious from the foregoing that the role of SMEs in job creation is important not only to developing countries, but even in more advanced economic groupings such as the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, which includes the Americas, Japan, Germany, and Canada. In a document on its site, the OECD estimates that SMEs are the source of 60 to 70% of the jobs in most of its member countries, and particularly accounts in large measure for new jobs even in America and the Netherlands. In Ghana, even without the benefit of up-to-the-minute research, anecdotal evidence points to the fact that SMEs provide a great number of jobs as government agencies can't cope with the heavy burden of employing the teeming citizens who come onto the job market daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. If this is the case, then the growth of SMEs is indeed important enough to occupy our attention this morning and also for follow-through. It is also noted that SMEs face some considerable challenges, as I'm sure will be revealed in the ongoing discussions that would follow the expert presentations. SMEs come up with issues around financing and access to supposedly reasonably priced credit, which is obviously one of the big ones that is stated. But the other issues are also around strategic management and operational inefficiencies that may need innovation to solve in another shape or form. And I believe that when we address some of these fundamentals, the SMEs can become more resilient in the face of evolving situations like the pandemic that we are dealing with today. Digital innovation is a potential solution that can introduce efficiencies into the SMEs' operations and to strengthen them for today and also for the future. And it is meet then that Graphic Business, in partnership with Access Bank, steps in to enable SMEs in this regard. And hence, our maiden theme for this morning, boosting SME resilience with digital solutions, becomes imperative. According to Huawei and Oxford Economics, in 2016, the global digital economy was worth 11.5 trillion, and it was equivalent to 15.5% of the world's overall GDP. It is expected to reach 25% in less than a decade, quickly outpacing the growth of the overall economy. Now, our big question is, how can SMEs in Ghana tap into this economy for growth? This huge digital economy, as it's evolving, has a place for us. And I believe that, ladies and gentlemen, it is that answer that our expert panelists would help us to find. And I am confident in their expertise, and I have no doubt that they will fulfill our expectation with the informative content, well-grounded and pragmatic ideas inspired from Africa, honed in Ghana, and tested in markets the world over. On this note, I welcome you, and I wish you all a pleasant and an enlightening morning. Thank you very much.
I'd call quickly Kafui Bimpe, Head Business Banking, Access Bank, to start.
Good morning, all present here, and those of you who are on our virtual platforms listening to me. I'll be taking a few presentations, and I'll start by looking at, can you please move it? I'll start by looking at the importance of SMEs to the economy of Ghana. Now, giving you some insight into what SMEs do. Okay, they contribute significantly to the GDP of an economy. In Ghana, we know they contribute up to about 70% of the gross domestic product of the country. So they are actually the bedrock of our nation. Without them, we don't have an economy. So it is critical that we look at them and we nurture them well and grow them to the level we all desire. We also know that they contribute significantly to employment, job creation. And just in the manufacturing industry, they contribute in excess of 85%. And
Other areas, they contribute about 80%. So we cannot overlook SMEs. Another thing we know about our SMEs is that they represent about 80 to 90% of all businesses in this country. So if a segment of the economy represents about 80 to 90%, then it is very important that we pay a particular attention to them. Otherwise, if we lose focus on them, the economy is going to suffer. We know that our SMEs, most people, they are risk bearers. They are risk bearers because they invest their money and they are not sure whether they will get the returns, but they're there to do that. So we need to support them. One thing I'll say about SME is that the failure rate is high in this sector. It's very high because they have a number of challenges. And when they fail, they are not only losing their money, they are not only losing their time, what they are also losing is that the dream that they have nurtured over a long period of time is gone. That is why when we are dealing with SMEs, we need to look at them and deal with them carefully so that we can take them to the next level. Now, we look at significant barriers of SMEs. What are some of the significant barriers they have? The first one is they have difficulty in accessing finance. They are for obvious reasons. I think in the course of the discussion, we'll point out some of them. And they also have difficulty in accessing technical expertise. Sometimes it's not just about money, it's also about the expertise, the knowledge to be able to deliver on whatever you are doing. So they have challenge in getting that technical advice. They also have a problem in accessing critical information that they need to grow. When you get to certain environments, it's easy for them to access information because when you have information, then you are able to make an informed decision to be able to propel you into the future. They don't have, so it's quite problematic for them. Now, what do they need to do? What are the success factors, key success factors? We know that they have to be dynamic in terms of their operations to be able to drive efficiency into their operations, meaning using less to achieve more. They need to be committed, and most of them are very committed. They will have to sacrifice a lot of things to make sure that they keep afloat. Innovation. This one, without innovation, you are not able to do anything. You can't survive. Because if the environment is changing frequently and you remain static, then all other things being equal, the possibility exists that you cannot survive and carry on into the future. Technology is also an issue for them, and I think when we get into it, we'll be able to look at them. Now, I just want to look at the impact of COVID. We know COVID has impacted SMEs disproportionately. They were the hardest hit. This is because they are quite vulnerable. They are not as robust as other big companies. So the least thing that happens, they are carried away with the wind. When you look at them, we know that about 42,000 people were laid off from SME side just because of the COVID, which affected a lot of family members, a lot of people in the country. Now, we also know that their revenue, that's their sale, also declined by about 115 million. That's the average one. So you can just imagine, this research was done by Ghana Statistical Service, and they just use a smaller sample. So if we want to extrapolate and look at the real impact, then it is more significant than what we see. Now, another impact of this COVID is that consumer behavior has changed significantly. No doubt, consumer behavior has changed. Now, people have moved from the traditional ways of doing things to different ways of doing things. They've moved digital. A lot of people will not like to go to shops to buy products. A lot of people will not even like to come to some offices to engage the services of certain professionals, most of the things are happening online. So it is very important that we educate, we build capacity, and we migrate as quickly as possible to this digital space so that we can take advantage of all the opportunities of our economy and will be the engine of our recovery. So it tells us that SMEs are very important. For us to recover to the pre-pandemic levels, then SMEs must be our focus if we really want to get it. Now, that is why Frederick Mugisha, who is the UNEP Economic Advisor for Ghana and Gambia, also indicated that for us to be able to make SMEs resilient, then we need to equip them with best practices, and also we need to digitize them so that they can be resilient into the future. Now, so what world of opportunities are there for these SMEs? A lot of opportunities are there because we have a lot of people who are online. Even as I speak to you now, a lot of people are listening to me all over the world. So it is important for you to get into that space. How does Access Bank come in? We want to be an enabler. We want to be that partner that will be able to enable you to get to that level, because some of you do not have the experience to go there. Some of you will be worried that even if I get into that digital space, how will I be able to receive payment for what I do? So we are introducing our digital products. We have Access Pay, which is an online payment solution, very secured, and you can use it to make payment to your staff. You can use it to make payment to vendors. You can make payment to your suppliers. Now, we've realized that some even SME owners, when they are out of the country, they struggle to manage their business because of lack of trust. Most of them, they will have to share their businesses because they don't know how money will be spent. Now, this solution will help you manage your finances wherever you find yourself. You can just log on, and if you have to make payment, you just make payment. If you have to make salary payment, they will upload it because it's bulk payment. You can just make it. If you have to pay a supplier, you can be wherever you are. You log on, and we have a token which you can use so that it is safe for you to do so. We also have merchant pay. These days, a lot of people use mobile money to make payment. Even when you go to remote areas of the country, we all know that some of them, they don't have smartphones. So they can, the mobile phone, they can use the one which are not smart. So you can use USSD at least to receive mobile money and to make mobile money payment. So we have developed a merchant pay for SMEs so that at any point in time, even if you make sales and the person does not have cash, the person does not have a card to make payment, the person can easily use the mobile money to make payment to you. And you have a statement that you can view. You know who is paying. You know the time that it has been paid and everything, the amount. We also have integrated POS, which is a classic collection tool device that you can put in your shop. That is those people who have shops that have not gone digital, that have places that people will have to make payment. You can put this device over there so that when you even have people coming from all over the world, we have foreigners who come in, we have people who don't want to carry cash these days because they know the risk involved in carrying cash. They can use the card to make payment. And this one also accepts payment from mobile money. It accepts payment from Visa card, MasterCard, China Union Pay. So it is integrated solution for you. Now we have Access Africa. Access Africa, you know, we have people who do business, especially intra-Africa. Now that after it's coming, we know that a lot of business opportunities are going to open up. Now, those people who are trading, if you export to any other country, Nigeria, Congo, Zambia, and the rest, you can receive instant payment through our Access Africa platform. And if you want to also make payment to all these locations, Nigeria and the rest, we have all the places that we are present in. You can use this platform to make payment. It is also web-based, simple to use. Now we have Access e-payment and collections. This Access e-payment and collection is a payment gateway that we can deploy on your website so that whatever service you render, anybody who wants to make payment will pay through that one. And it can accept mobile money as well as all cash that you can think of. Now we have mobile, Access Mobile, which is a mobile app that you can access all our banking services on. Whatever transaction you want to carry out, you'll be able to carry. And Ghana QR code is also another form. Now, it's popular. We just sign you onto it. We give you a unique ID, and anytime people want to make payment through mobile money, through card, and other environment, you'll be able to receive payment. We also have cards, a number of cards we issue. We have credit card, we have debit card, we have prepaid card. Prepaid card is just like cash in your wallet. You don't need to be a customer, but you can have it, and when you are traveling, it is easy for you to use, and it's very reliable. Now, beyond this, we have other solutions, which is Empower. We know that the cost of doing business with banks is quite expensive. So what have we done? We have dedicated a type of account class called Empower account to our SMEs. What it does is, anytime you conduct banking transactions, you are not charged anything, COT free. So that is our only way to say that we know your margins are thin, we don't want to overburden you with charges. So you can open Empower account and you are able to do all your transactions through it free of charge. We also have instant business loan for SME customers. We know they have some homogeneous characteristics, even though they are unique. Each of them is unique. So we have a loan up to 100,000 that we can use to support your working capital so that you'll be able to take care of your short-term needs. This will take away that cognitive load of you trying to advance some money to them in the middle of the month. So that helps you protect your cash and take care of your cash. Now, we also have trade products and investment products that we can have discussion on. The next one is, we are not only doing banking, we want to also give you beyond banking. So what do we have? We have the W community, which they continue to inspire, they continue to connect, they continue to empower our female entrepreneurs or female business people. So we have a lot of knowledge base over there. We have people who, they organize a lot of seminars, they organize breakfast meetings, they try to connect you to the right people so that you'll be successful. We also have bank advisory service. You can go onto our website, and because we know that some SMEs is not about money, they need some advice to be able to navigate their way through challenges they have. So we are going to provide you with financial literacy, we are going to look at business registration, tax issues, and other issues that will come. So you are free to go to our website and you can apply. Now, we also have bank assurance products. In life is full of risks. Some of them you can manage yourself, you'll be able to contain. There are some that you cannot contain. So instead of you trying to manage those risks that you cannot contain, you just have to outsource it to the right people who can manage those risks for you. That is why we have bank assurance product for you. We have motor insurance, we have workmen's compensation insurance, we have shop owners insurance, we even have goods in transit, so that if your goods are in transit and they get damaged or stolen, you will still be indemnified. So these are the type of products we have for our SMEs, and we are telling you that we'll be with you throughout your journey to growth, and we'll continue to support you. So count on us as a bank. We'll be able to support you wherever you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kafui. Madame Kosi Yankee Aye.
Thank you. I also want to start with a quote, and the quote is from one of the lecturers in one of my schools that I attended. And his name is George Westerman, MIT Sloan Initiative on Digital Economy. And he says that when digital transformation is done right, it's like a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. But when done wrong, all you have is a really fast caterpillar. It sounds quite poetic for MSMs. But I thought it was really apt for today's conversation for a lot of different reasons. We are all learning what digitization is as an economy. We're all learning as businesses. And really, we all want to be butterflies to be able to fly. And to be able to fly, you equate that to resilience. If you're not resilient as a caterpillar, you can't even transform into a butterfly. And so as much as possible, I thought that this quote was very, very apt. Today's conversation really is around the theme of boosting SME resilience with digital solutions. And when I was told about the topic and the theme, I was thinking, what really comes to mind when we think about resilience? And resilience for me and for some people is about strength, it's about sustainability, it's about the future, it's about standing firm even through the challenges of life and making sure that you survive at the end of the day. The other one was the digital solutions. What are the solutions that exist? And why is it so important to have digital solutions to strengthen the SMEs in this nation? Taking Ghana into context. So then you look further into what SME resilience is, and for us at NBSSI, now Ghana Enterprises Agency, it's really focused on three things. How do we sustain what we have or get to build our business? How do we sell whatever it is that we have? And what is the underlying thing that cuts through all of it? So we're looking at access, when you're looking at the manufacturing sector, access to raw materials. When you're looking at access to markets, you're looking at access to finance. So really, these are three of the main and the major pillars that we look about or think about when we're talking about SME resilience. Now, what are those digital solutions? When I took over at NBSSI at that time, 4 years ago, the talk of digitization was one that we didn't talk about. It was something that we only heard about, something we wished and hoped for, but how do we work on it? Because it was also two-phased. One, institutional strengthening. How do you bring digitization or bring digital solutions to strengthen your institution so you can boost SME resilience? The second one was, how do you also find digital solutions to support MSMEs in this country so they can grow? Because if you heard from all your other speakers, they talked about it clearly. SMEs are the engine of growth. Many years, many speakers talk about engine of growth, but very few people do much about this engine of growth. And for us at Ghana Enterprises Agency, our goal is to really see how best we can turn these businesses or MSMEs into engines of growth using digital solutions. So what are some of these digital solutions that we talk about? The applications that will support, some of which Access Bank has highlighted and shared with us in terms of payments, in terms of finding access to even raw materials or products, in terms of using technology to sell your products. Now everybody is on the phone. You're either looking at someone's dress or shoes to buy, or you're looking at how you can sell your own products on that. So these are some of the things that we've all been talking about. But we cannot underestimate that one thing that pushed and propelled the digitization and the push for digital solutions to build and strengthen the resilience of our SMEs. And that one thing was COVID-19. COVID happened, and we all didn't have an excuse. We didn't have access. we didn't have anywhere to turn. And for most of us, we had to then turn to digitization to find solutions to the problems we've been faced with, to find solutions to problems that have persisted for years that we were thinking about. When the government came into power in 2017, digitizing the economy was key. It was key in its policy directions. It was the reason why governments implemented so many interventions such as the national ID, the digital address system, the lands records digitization, and so on. And you can't look at it in isolation because they all build on what SME resilience is all about. You need to know where your address is, you need to know where your location is, you need to know where you have an ID to be able to build resilient businesses, and they all feed into it. And I think the government did an amazing job in doing that. Without COVID-19, as I mentioned earlier, we would not have really realized the real impact and the need for us to take on and hold on to digital solutions for our businesses and ensure that they build resilience at a time when we didn't know what or where we were going. The COVID-19 has had considerable impact on the economy. I won't mention the numbers because it's all been said. 700,000 here, there, and all over. But there's something that is really important and key. When COVID-19 happened, a week after it was announced that we had to stay at home, when the president announced the intervention, the first thing that also came in mind was how do we strengthen and build resilience for our SMEs? And once you build resilience for your SMEs, the question is, when you're locked down, how do you implement or deploy? Through digital solutions. So at the then National Board for Small Scale Industries, we set up a technology platform. And for the first time in the history of the institution, we had this digital platform that allowed us to register people across the nation. Some people said, how do you do that? My auntie is in Bole Bamboy. She has never seen a computer before. I have an uncle who is in Swedro. They don't know what to do. How do I get my markets from one place to the other? These were questions that were relevant and important. And they didn't know what to do and how to do it. And we weren't sure at that time if it was going to work. Yes, we had to make way for people to apply on paper, but then take it to a central base to put it back on technology. However, at the end of the day, as I speak now, through this digital platform, we built a database for 900,000 MSME businesses in Ghana. The importance and the relevance of that number cannot be underestimated. Why? For the first time, technology has allowed us to have a clear view of what businesses exist in Ghana and give us a clear picture of what kind of intervention is relevant for us to provide digital solutions and build and boost SME resilience at a time when they needed it the most and when they needed us the most. To date, I'm proud to say that over 500 million Ghana cedis plus, over 200 to almost 300,000 people have benefited from this process in the shortest possible time. I don't think any bank can even assess, 200,000 businesses in a year? But we were forced to do that. And it's important to note, as I said, technology played a very important role. We were able to, for the first time, support associations to also realize that associations such as AGI, ASI, who work with SMEs, the importance of keeping a database and using digital solutions to support them. Data is key. The world has changed. Data is key. And it's through technology that you can use this data to really analyze and boost your SMEs across the nation and then turn them into that engine of growth that we've talked about for many years. Through the digital solutions, we were able to save in excess of 600,000 jobs. And this was all done, and all these analysis was done because we also had digital solutions to build on the work that we have done. We cannot underestimate the work that we've done. And we can't underestimate the fact that to be able to boost this SME resilience, we need digital solutions. We did not end there with a technology platform. We realized that for our SMEs to be able to survive and work, we needed to collaborate and work with partners to provide them access access to these digital solutions that would also build their businesses and support us in what we wanted to do, build the MSMEs engine for growth for this nation. So through our partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, we've implemented so many other programs. Now, NBSSI is known for only giving access to finance, but our work really, the crux of our work, is business development support. And business development support today is hinged on digital solutions, providing platforms where businesses can learn and build their businesses and build their capacity and that of their staff. That is where we're moving to. That builds resilience. Providing solutions through our MasterCard Foundation, yes, providing access to finance. Through our Nkosua Fund, previously our Domen and Idasua funds, more than ever before, to ensure that at the end of the day, the SME's resilience is boosted. We can't underestimate that. Most importantly is our partnership with GIZ quite recently, where we decided that, yes, people produce what's next. And the easiest and the best foundation to build that SME resilience is through a digital platform to be able to access markets they've never accessed before, locally, internationally, regionally. Now there's AFTAC, there's so many other programs. So in partnership with GIZ, we are piloting a program to digitize up to 500 growth-oriented SMEs in this nation. And in turn, hope that will turn into job creation. Our focus is simply to keep these businesses alive and strengthen their resilience during COVID. So what are the solutions? Some of which Access Bank has mentioned, in terms of access to finance, in terms of access to tools to be able to sell, in terms of access to tools that would help them develop their own social media presence, build their websites, to be able to sell online in ways and in markets that they've never seen before. That is how you build resilience. That is how we support our SMEs. There's so much more we're doing in partnership with other institutions to be able to reach the unbanked, to be able to give them access to a platform to sell their products and use that as a form to understand their patterns of creditworthiness so we can give them access to more funding and build their business. This is the new normal. The digital solutions are the new normal. And the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, now Ghana Enterprises Agency, is here and is really focused on ensuring that the talk of MSMEs as engines for growth is just not another conversation, but really something that can be implemented, that can impact the way we do business in Ghana, around the region, and outside Ghana and internationally. That is the new normal. So thank you very much, and I hope we continue the conversation.
Seth Chumakabwa is the CEO for AGI, and he's ready to give us some perspectives from industry.
Thank you very much, and let me commend Graphic Corporation for the initiative. I know we've been doing this breakfast meeting for so long, but it always appears to be a very high-level one, issues on advocacy and finance and so on and so forth. But today I'm happy that you are actually bringing it down to our SMEs, because our SMEs are so important. And let me also commend Access Bank for partnering you on this. We are happy to see our banks supporting the development of SMEs. And therefore, when we see this kind of partnerships, we always appreciate it. The importance of SMEs has been, well, can you please roll the slide? Yeah. It's all known to us. Over 85% of businesses that are registered in Ghana are SMEs. Indeed, even the so-called big companies elsewhere, in other jurisdictions, at best they can be considered medium. We really don't have the big giants here. I've been in meetings where we're discussing about the size of businesses. And then we noticed that in Ghana, we're actually an SME country. We are largely SME. Most of our business are SMEs. And therefore, every effort at developing them is critical. But I think for definition purposes, MBSSI has its own definition. We still are able to segregate them into the different categories. And here we're talking more of the very small enterprises and then the relatively medium. The very big ones that we consider as big, as I said, they are SMEs elsewhere. In terms of workforce, it's also mentioned here a couple of times already. I won't spend too much time on that. A lot of our people are employed by the SMEs, the people in the markets, those on the roadside, those producing small items, those producing food items, all over. They are largely SMEs, and they contribute about 70% to the GDP, and therefore they are very critical to us. Challenges is also known to us, a lot of challenges that they are always confronted with. I'm happy the banks are talking to us today. Access to finance, especially to the SMEs, is always a challenge. Some of the banks have SME products, but normally when you go into it, it's not really necessarily for SMEs. It's because the size of the fund or the money they are giving is small. That is not an SME product. So we really need to look at it. I know they've been making a lot of effort to support SMEs, but we need to be able to find out and calculate what percentage of their portfolio is really going to the SMEs. I think we need to do that analysis. And you cannot blame the banks entirely because they have requirements. And most of the SMEs are not able to meet these requirements, the collateral requirements, the equity level, and so many things that they ask for, which may not necessarily be provided by the bank, by the SMEs. That makes them, it makes it difficult for them to access finance from the bank. They are also considered the highly risk category. So when it comes to bank applications, they are well scrutinized. But I believe that those who are also well organized still get access to finance. So the challenge to us as SMEs is that how do we get organized to the level where the banks will accept us? I think that's the challenge that as SMEs we need to be confronted with and work towards that. And digitization could help a great deal in doing so. Other challenges we have: access to high cost of electricity, large firms competing with us. Sometimes you have imports of volumes of products that are coming into the market, and you are an SME sitting small in a corner somewhere. The volumes that are coming, and normally when you produce on large scale, you're able to reduce cost of production, and therefore cost per unit also comes down. Price comes down, and then you have good market share. For the SMEs, they produce in small quantities, and their cost and their overheads are high. So how do they compete? And that is always a challenge. And these are some of the challenges that we have. Because they lack access to finance, they are also unable to invest very much into technology, which is the subject of discussion today. What do we do to ensure that we have SMEs investing in technology that propels them to become competitive in the market? Next slide, please. So we are also discussing this in the context of the COVID, and our analysis showed that indeed we have the AGI Business Barometer report, which we do quarterly, and the report we did in the second quarter, third quarter, also showed about 80% of businesses were indeed affected by the COVID situation, and our SMEs were not spared at all. Those into manufacturing, those into beverage were all affected. Remember, even after the lockdown, a lot of the normal businesses were not working as such. The conferences were not taking place, the big funerals, the events. So our catering sector was really affected. The hospitality, the restaurant, they were all affected. Travel and tours. So most of these companies were affected, even in the agriculture sector. Even though last year, whilst we were having a decline in all the sectors, agri did well, but we still had serious problems in the agriculture sector of our SMEs. Some of the vegetable producers could not really sell their products because they serve the hotels, they serve the restaurants, so demand actually fell. Demand for all goods virtually fell, those in the garment industries. So we really were affected by the COVID. The thing is that in the wake of that, can you see the slide? Go on, please. Yes, so, the COVID affected us. It slowed down businesses, but then it brought something else. Those who were able to resist a bit, and we are talking resilience here, those who were able to resist a bit were those who actually shifted to, were in the position to use digital as a solution to their business problems. So digitization is very, very critical. And I think from today, we are all looking at digitization, how we can use digitization to improve our business and transform our businesses. It is so critical that we look at digitization as a solution to some of the challenges. It also brought to the fore, the COVID situation brought to the fore the need to actually develop local supply chains very well. This is something that we all learned a lot from. I remember during the lockdown period, a lot of companies were coming to us. How are we going to get our raw materials? Even the local producers, they rely so much on imported raw materials. So at some point, when there was lockdown all over the world, they were really afraid that they were not going to get stocks to produce. So they were all affected. And it meant that we can't continue as a country to depend on foreign products at all levels. We cannot. There are some products we may not have the capacity to produce now, but there are others that we really have some capacity, and we should raise it, enhance it, develop it, and produce it locally, so we can be self-sufficient in a lot of ways. We also have to be very efficient in the use of our resources, and adoption of the digitalization as a strategy then becomes even more important. So what are the areas of digitalization that we need to look at? I think a lot have been mentioned already. And the COVID period taught us a lot. All the meetings we were having were becoming virtual. Even today's meeting we are having, I know normally when Graphic has this breakfast meeting, it's a whole big room full of people. Today, the numbers have been drastically reduced because there are others joining virtually. It means this is the new normal, and we have to take advantage of it. Exhibitions are being held. It's interesting to know that people are actually having exhibitions virtually. I've participated in a number of them, and it's taking place. So if you're an SME and you think that we are going to wait for us to have these stalls, then you come and bring your physical products to exhibit, you are really getting out of business because people are exhibiting virtually and they are making business, they are making contacts. So we need to be thinking about that. E-commerce is all over now. Let's take advantage of it. How do you get into it? Who are those doing it? Where are the platforms? How do I get my product on it? Ministry of Trade used to have a program they called they had a program on e-commerce. And all you needed to do was to bring your products, take good pictures of it, take it to them, they'll download it on the site, and then your product is on the market. And people are looking at it all over the world. There are different platforms. As SMEs, we shouldn't close our minds to all these opportunities that are around us. We are doing a lot of our transactions through electronic means. Our banker talked so much about it, and we should be able to take advantage of it. Security systems and everything that we are using to monitor our businesses, it is becoming digital. I know some of our members who have fleet of vehicles, and they are using digital means to monitor the drivers. Wherever they are, whatever location they are, they're able to monitor and know. So you can't come and be giving excuses. I traveled here, I spent this number of hours, this number of days, and take all kinds of money and spend all kinds of money. So digitization is becoming critical in the way we do things. I think the question would be, AGI, what are you also doing? We have also come up with a digital solution, and we'll be working very closely with MBSSI to roll this out very soon. And it is a very simple SME tool, but it's such a very, very big solution to a lot of the problems we have in managing our businesses. It enables us to generate our financials. So if you go into a bank, the banks will always ask for your financials. Some of us do not even have adequate records of our businesses. A solution of this nature, just by entering your data on a daily basis, automatically will calculate everything for you. You have inventory, your procurement, your HR administration, everything all together. We used some consultants who are very strong in technology, and very soon it will be launched, and you will be amazed how this thing works. Today, with that kind of solution, you can actually monitor your business from anywhere in the world. On your phone, you can tell who is working in your office and who is not working. These are all part of the digitization process. As SMEs, we always have a challenge. We don't have the entire structures in our office place. You may not be able to employ the accountant. You may not be able to employ a full-time HR person. You may not have all the complement of staff. Yet, you need to monitor your business. And you need to go out there and look for business. So as you are traveling around the country and around the world, how is your business faring? You need to have a digital solution to monitor some of these. And we have developed something that will be launched very soon. Others are also developing. Explore. As SMEs, we just cannot close our eyes to some of these opportunities that are coming. So you need to have knowledge. If you want to go digital, you really need to have knowledge. And I think it is very important that we get trained in a lot of the areas that we are talking about. And the training is not just for you as the entrepreneur, it's also for your staff. Make sure that you have staff who are also well trained in some of these areas. The beauty of it is that sometimes you don't need to have the full complement of staff to do things. You can actually make use of resource persons, consultants, and development people who can come in, develop a solution for you, and go away. Let's explore those opportunities. You don't need to have so much money to go digital. That is sometimes the misconception we have. And we think that for us, we don't have the money. There's nothing about money. It's about business solution and making progress in your business. So you need to also invest a bit. Not so much money, but a little investment. At least, even if on your phone, there are opportunities that you can use. Technology people will tell us. If you have even WhatsApp groupings, it's a marketing tool. Everything you do on phone, on computer, basic computer, you may have to be able to acquire it. You have to join networks as well. Within AGR, for example, we have about 23 different sectors. Each of these sectors have their own groupings. Each of the groupings, we are creating WhatsApp groups, network groups. You can make use of this platform to market your products. So you don't just stay in your corner and think that you can do business and do it to the very best of your ability and make all the money. You cannot. It is very important that we join networks. Let's be part of the system. Don't let us stay away. So those of you who came here and those of you who have tuned in and listening, I think it's a good platform for you to get knowledge that there are opportunities out there that you can indeed explore. I think that in doing this, as an advocate, we also look at issues that government also has a role to play. And I think that we need to really partner government and work towards reducing the cost of data. I think cost of data in this country is too expensive. I think it is something that has to be explored and looked at. Because when you go elsewhere, data is not that expensive. Why it is so expensive in Ghana, I think the technology people will be able to tell us. But I think that there's a lot of room in reducing our cost of data. And the idea is that when we do so, people will then be able to do business using digital platforms, using the WhatsApp. And we must be able to have all this in the villages. I know that there is some tax imposed or levy, talk tax or something, and it's being used to develop the infrastructure for spreading internet across the country. We need to fast track it because otherwise we'll be left behind as a country. Every country is going digital. So it has become a matter of necessity, and we have no choice than to get involved. Then, in addition, in partnership with government, whilst we are going digital, security is critical, especially when we are using platforms for payment and all that. So we need to regulate the e-commerce business and have appropriate security. I think government has a key role to play. Today, we have the CFTA. CFTA has become so important, and we are asking ourselves, as a small business, how can I participate? Indeed, through digitization, you can also be part of this CFTA arrangement. Sometimes people think that for me to export, I must go to Kenya, Nigeria, or wherever, and go and look for market, and then secure it, have an agreement, come and produce and export. It doesn't always happen like that. And for a small enterprise, you may have a difficulty doing so. But through digitization, you can export. You can also do this through what we call aggregation. You can have a major player who buys the products from different small enterprises. And then because he's a big company, he's able to export on your behalf. But in doing so, he needs to apply technology. And if you are not part of the arrangement, you don't have basic technology level, you cannot participate. So you have a difficulty participating in the CFTA if you're a small enterprise, if you are not thinking digitization at all. I remember when NBSSS rolled out the CAF fund, and AGI was very much involved. We were asking our members to apply, and they were doing everything through the net. The struggle they went through, we had to use our offices across the region for them to come to the office and be supported to do that simple application. If you had not done that, a lot of them could not have applied. because they were using digital platforms, they were using digital means. So if you don't want to lose business, then you must be part of the new normal that is going on, and you really have to be actively participant of it. As I said, business networking is key, and in all this, I believe that we should be able to participate actively if you go on digital. So thank you very much.